Good afternoon. All today we can see the second unit. In that unit, we can see the different types of entity state, relational model, as well as their concept, um, and some relational contents also. So first of all, we can see here the data model is an conceptual representation of data structure. Means what it required by database. The data structure includes the data objects. Means what? They can associate between the data objects and rules which are governed. Means what? That operations on that objects. Means that objects have some name that implement that implies it. What implies is that data model is mainly focused what data is required and how it should be organized rather than what operation will be performed on that data. So that data model is independent hardware and software constraints also. So the real world event and process as well as physical representation of those concepts in the database. So why the data modeling is important? See here that data modeling is an probably the most labor intensive and time consuming part of development process. Means what actually, and what is the resist of time? Means the goal of data model is to make sure that data object is required by the database. Means it is completely and accurately represented because the data model is usually easily understand. What easily understand? Their notations as well as such a natural languages also, as well as it can be reviewed and verify it as correct by end users. Means that data model is also detailed enough to use by database developers. Just like it is a blueprint for a building or a physical database also. So see here, next topic is entity relationship model. So what is ER model? So that ER model, it is mainly based on depiction of real world. Means what? We can see in the last lecture. For example, entity means what? The object or entity name. That entity has a number of attributes. Just take the example of a student. That student has their student number as well as their uh, name, division, their faculty type, just like computer science, or their address as well as their contact number, city name, all are all are the attributes of that entity or that object. So see here, an entity is a thing or object in the real world that distinguishable for the object. Means what? That entity relationship model is mainly based on the notation of real world entities and the relationship is among them. Means while the formulating the real world scenario into the database model, means that ER model is create the entity state or relationship state also. It is general attributes and constraints. See here example of customer and their attributes. Just like customer name, customer street address, customer city. So customer is an entity here. So see here the unique customer identifier must be assigned to each customer in the United States. And many enterprises use a social security number. Means what? A person. See, a unique number of the US government assigned to every person in the US or United States as a customer identifier. Next, we can see the relationship. All, all over can understand what is entity, why it is used, what is their attributes. So next is relationship. So the relationship is associated as a several entities. Means what? Student teacher relationship or a customer or a customer or such a wholesale department relationship. As, so there will be number of entities are presented, but the relationship between the another entity or another person or object is different way. Depositor relationship associated a customer means with each account that she has means set all the entities of the same type and the set the all relationship of the same type just like the entity set and relationship set. Understood all. Therefore, it can be summarized as see here. ER model is best used for a conceptual design database. ER model is mainly based on entities and their attributes as well as relationship and among the entities. Here, the ER notation. There is a no standard for a representing the data object in the ER diagram. ER diagram means what? The entity relationship diagram. So the entities are mainly represented by labeled rectangular. Okay. See next. The relationship is mainly represented should be solid line connection between the two lines. Means the name of relationship it's written above the line means that relationship is should be verb. Second, attribute when include as listed inside the entity rectangle as well as cardinality means what the many is represented by a line ending of cross. See the existence is represented by placing a circle or a perpendicular bar on line. It is also important. So the see here we can see steps in the building the data model. First will be identify the data object and the relationship. Take an example of any just like college student. Just take an example of college system or a student college coordination. So how we can draw that diagram? First will be identify the data object and relationships. Means what? We can identify first data object. Which objects are mainly important here? Student in the college will be there will be number of departments or teachers, coordinators. Relationships means one student is mainly follows the number of one student can teach the number of discern the number of teachers as well as one teacher can be teaches the number of subjects. Okay. After that, they initialize the ER diagram, means according to their entities and relationships. Next, refining the ER model, as well as add the key attribute and adding the non-key attribute. It can be generalized in hierarchical way and validating that. And last one is adding the business and integrity rules of model. To see here, here is all structured. Attribute can be uh, oval, entity in square bracket. A relationship is mainly shown in the diamond shape. Okay, see here, relationships types. Relationships are mainly mapped entities in a various ways. So that mapping cardinalities defining the number of relation entities. First will be 1 to 1. 1 to 1 means what? Which example is go to here, going to here. See, the one student has only one roll number. Second will be 1 to many. One student can apply for number of exam. Many to one means many students can learn the one subject. Many to many means what? Many student, many student can check the number of books. Okay, see here the logical structure. Next, we can see the relational model. In that relational model, there will be the NRA relationships. Means such highlights of that model are data is stored in the table called relations. Relations can be normalized, and in normalized relation values save as an atomic values. Each row each row in relation contains the unique value, as well as the each column of relation contains the values and same domain. Means what? See here will be attribute name, just like student ID, student name, student age, student class, and student section. Means division. So all that are columns, all that are attributes. Tuple means what? That row which can be store the data. See here, all these are is a table relation. So the relational model concept means what? We can see the table. Each column of table has a name or a attribute. So each row is called as a tuple. It is important. Okay. So what is domain? Domain is a set of atomic values and attribute can take. Means that values it can be taken by the each attribute. Next will be attribute. Attribute means what? The name of column in a particular table. So each attribute AI must have a domain just like AI. All data is mainly stored in that table. Understood? Next will be the relational schema. So what is relational schema? The design of one table, it containing the name of table, that is the name of relation. Means all names of column or that attributes, just like SID, SNAME, SH, all that are relational schema. See example is student. It has a name, student ID, age, GPA. So the degree of relation is what? Number of attributes in relational schema. Tuples is mainly represented. TR means A1, A2, A3 up to AN means number of records we can inserted here. So the order set of values. So we can set the A1 as a V1 where the each VI means that relational means that at attribute domain has such a dom value is called as a per dom A of I for what each VI values. Properties of relation is what? Properties of database relations are relation name is distinct for all other relation as well as each cell of relation contains exactly one atomic value as well as each attribute has a distinct name. Value of an attribute are all from the same domain. Next, order of attribute has a no significance. Next, each tuple is distinct as well as no duplicate tuples means no duplicate entry is available. Duplicate entry ते घेणार नाहीये बिलकुल दरवेळेस आपल्याला वेगवेगळी एंट्री करावी लागेल. सो द ऑर्डर ऑफ टपल हॅज अ सिग्निफिकन्स ऑर अ theoretical. आता आपण पाहिलं की जसे attribute so we can see there will be one entity or one attribute or one object has a sorry the one object or one entity has a number of attribute as per their relational keys are available. That keys has a different types. So the different types are mainly uses for a different kind of work. First of all, we can see the primary key. So primary key is also called as the identifying keys. We can see at the at right now the student ID. The student ID is their identify key because it can show or it can be identify that student as per their ID number or a seat number as well as roll number of their. So it is called as mainly the primary. After that, there will be mainly the two another keys are presented. That is the super key and candidate key. See here, identity key, super key. A super key is a set of attributes. Means it can be used to uniquely identify tuple. Means what? The more than one super key means it always has at least one. Means the set of attribute has make up the relation. Second, we can see the candidate key. A candidate key means it is a super key that is a minimum. Means what? Accurately, it is a subset of itself. Means it is a subset of super key. A relation may have more than one candidate key. Means the different candidate key may have the different number of attributes. Okay, means the each tuple of row or R that values of k means it can be uniquely identify that tuples. Next, there will be no proper subset of k means there will be no uniqueness property means it is irreducibility. Next, we can see the primary key. The primary key is it is a mainly the relationship of candidate key, especially it is selected to the key for relation. Means another other word, it is choice, and there can be only One candidate key is designed to be primary key. Means that relationship between identity keys are super key. See, it is important. Okay, super key is super key is relation between the candidate key is related between to that primary keys. Another key is foreign keys. That foreign key means what? The attribute within the one relation means that matches the candidate key. See here, the foreign keys allow users to link information in one relation to information to another relation. Means one to another relation, it can be connected here by using the foreign keys. Without the foreign keys, the database should be collection of unrelated tables. Some relational model constraints. First will be integrity constraint, next is domain constraint, key constraints, and so on. See the entity integrity constraint, referential integrity constraints. See here, employee and department. Okay, the employee number is mainly go may see here. The employee number is mainly connected to manufacturing, mainly connected with their MGR E number means manufacturer E number. See reference. See, give the reference number here. Department number is mainly connected to that department number. Okay. In that employee table, first will be employee number, employee name, and address. Three mainly attributes are connected as well as supervisor and department. All that attributes of that employee and department. In that department, there will be department number, department name, location, and manufacturing. Okay. So in that first employee table, they are mainly connected with the manufacturer number as well as their department number. Why? Because they can easily get, means they are connected to each other. By connecting to each other as well as they can give see some different types uses in there will be uses different types of contents. That contents will be reference contents. By using that reference contents constraints, we can get the data as easily. Okay. Yes. All that things are mainly important. So wait for a minute. here. Today we can see in that their entity, their ER notation, as well as such steps of building of data model are like the refined ER model, adding the non-key attribute. Non-key attribute means what? That attribute is mainly uh, not useful, as well as adding the business and integrity rules. Means what? Integrity rules means their constraints. What types of constraints are mainly useful there? Identifying the objects and relationships. Means their object and their entities or a attribute. Object means what? In a college department, there will be a teaching department is different. Their lab department is different. Their coordinating teachers are different. So each are the different objects are mainly created as per their different objects. Their entities and their attributes are also different. So see here, after that they can identify and defining the relationship between their entities, as well as identify the entities and their attributes and relationships. The relationships are mainly in the form of four: one to one to many to one, and many to many. Documenting this information in the data document. All that three attributes are mainly important. See here, attribute symbol is in oval format. Okay, next will be entity. It's mainly represented in a rectangular, and the relationship is mainly in the diamond box. In that relational model, that actual data is mainly stored in the table format. So that table format is mainly concerned the attributes. That attributes will be as per their object, as per their entity. Next will be the tuple. Tuple means what? The actual data is mainly stored there. Actual data is mainly stored. Next will be column. In that column, the actual the one attribute data is mainly stored here. Next will be the table relation. Table relation data is mainly stored in that relationship. Okay.